Guillotine here, and I just got Legacy Override, a figure I've been very excited for. Went into Walmart looking for her and Cosmos, obviously. Unfortunately, no Cosmos. They had the whole wave other than Cosmos, Clampdown, and Scourge. So, big shocker there. Although the only one I care about is Cosmos. I just wanted her and Cosmos. So, yeah, I'm a little sad I couldn't find Cosmos. It's looking like I'm gonna have to buy it from a scalper, which I really don't want to do, but I need Cosmos. He's so cool. But I did find Override, and I was really excited for Override. If I'm being honest, I was actually equally excited for both of these figures. I just kind of wanted to find Cosmos more because I knew he was going to be way harder to get, because Override, in case you don't know, is from Transformers Cybertron, part of the Unicron trilogy, my personal favorite entry in the trilogy. I've seen a good chunk of Cybertron. I've seen quite a bit of it. I think I've seen most of Season 1, and I saw a couple of episodes of Season 2. It's not a bad show. I really don't think Cybertron's a bad show, and I think it gets a little bit more hate than it deserves. And I will say this, I think I have seen most of Season 1. I don't remember too much about this show overall, but I do remember this character, and I have to be honest, I actually really dug this character. I thought she was a very cool character. I want to point to one scene in particular that I especially dug with this character in it that I really liked as a kid. There's a scene in this when basically I think it's like the first episode that she shows up in. Megatron comes straight to her and demands the Cyber Planet Key from her, and she goes, "Oh, if you want that, you gotta race me." And then they race, she beats him, and then as he's leaving, she tells him that she has no idea what the hell he's talking about. Pretty darn cool scene, I'm not gonna lie. That's some cool character. That's a pretty cool character. That's some nice writing, I have to be honest. And I definitely think that scene is a good one to point to when people say this show is bad. That was a really cleverly written scene in my opinion. So yeah, there you have that. Now, I got really excited for this figure when it was revealed. Of course, this was this was leaked by our good friend Prime vs. Prime. He posted his review of this. I thought the figure looked absolutely fantastic. I was really excited for it. I really liked the way that the weapon worked, how it stayed on it all the time in the transformation, and you could just pull it off the back when you wanted it. I was really excited about this figure, and like I said, I like the character. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to be honest with you, I actually think this is probably one of the weakest figures of Legacy so far. I want to first say that I don't think this thing is bad, and I actually am going to praise this thing in a few aspects, because I think it does have some good things going for it, and I think I am definitely going to be holding on to it, because I do like it overall. Just compared to some of the other figures in Legacy, like Laser Optimus Prime, Bulkhead, I'm not feeling this one quite as much. There's quite a few things on this that are holding me back, and I'm going to go ahead and spoil that it's not the price point. I'm actually going to go ahead and say real quick that I actually think she justifies the Voyager price point pretty darn well. Like, as soon as I got around, she's a pretty decent sized figure, especially in the alt mode. Here is a quick comparison with Earthrise Grapple. You can actually, she's a pretty good amount. This is an actual Voyager class figure that pretty much anybody will tell you is well worth the Voyager class price point. And you can see she's actually just about the same size and mass as this guy. And in robot mode, I actually really feel like she's really bulky. And I will also say that compared to Legacy G-Axis here, she's heavier than Legacy G-Axis. There's some good plastic uses here. She feels like a very solid figure. I actually think she is worthy of the Voyager price point. And you might be saying, well, DK, do you think she's worthy of the Voyager price point? What else could there possibly be that's disappointing about this figure? Well, we're going to get into that. But first, let's go ahead and jump into the actual review of the figure. So here is the alt mode. It's a very nice rendition of Override's alt mode. I will say I wish we could have gotten some yellow picked out for these headlights, because that was a very prominent figure. I did have the original figure as a kid. I should have said that, actually. I did have the original Override figure as a kid. I remember taking that. I remember my dad would always go to the gym, and one day we swang by Toys R Us, I think, and they had Downshift and Override, and he bought me both of them, and I got to play with them while he was at the gym all day. I remember. Very fun memory, man. I do have quite a bit of Cybertron toys, which I will definitely compare this figure with. Yeah, Cybertron was a really good time for me. It was a toy line I really kind of grew up with, honestly. I had a lot of Cybertron toys, and I did have the original Override toy, and I remember being pretty fond of that thing. I remember that figure being pretty damn fun, and I actually think this figure is probably a pretty big upgrade over that one. So yeah, getting back into it, I think the alt mode looks fantastic. Like I said, I really wish they could have picked those out with some yellow. That would have been nice, especially for a Voyager class figure that is kind of a little bit teetering on the edge of being worthy of the Voyager class price point. It would have been nice if they could have just hit that with some paint to give it that gold, gold headlight look. Also back here, would have been nice if they could have given some paint back there just to break it up a little bit, because right now it's like completely black. But aside from that, it does look pretty good. I dig these translucent tires. I'm not sure if that was how it was on the original toy. It's been a very long time since I've held of that original toy a very, very long time. I don't have it anymore also, so I won't be able to compare it with. I apologize. But you can see, nice there. All of the wheels are pinned, so that's a nice thing. I actually only realized that now. I only realized just now that all of the wheels are pinned, so that's beautiful. Really like that. I can't believe that freaking Ironhide doesn't have that. The new SS86 Ironhide, I can't believe that doesn't have pinned on wheels. Are you kidding me, Hasbro? Come on. I think that figure looks glorious, and I'm really excited to get it. But come on, no pinned on wheels on that thing, really? Anyway, we'll talk about that when we get that figure in hand. But yeah, very cool. I like the cockpit right there. It just looks really good. Now, I do have one issue with the alt mode. It's a minor one, but I do want to say that the front up here is a little bit wonky. You can see these aren't really perfectly aligned, and I've tried quite a lot to try and get them perfectly aligned to where they actually look absolutely perfect on each side. It's barely noticeable. I'm kind of being like a Death the Kid right now. It's asymmetrical garbage! But it's pretty unnoticeable. Like if she's just driving by, which of course she's going to be because she's override. She's the fastest Transformer alive. Yeah, there's definitely nothing really you can really notice there. It's just gonna be like, oh yeah, it's a nice override. But if you really get up close, you can kind of see this is a little bit higher up, and you can see the legs aren't absolutely perfect. And I really have tried to get these in. You have these tabs in the cockpit right here, which lock into the legs, and it makes it so you can't really move the legs around. So yeah, that is kind of how they're stuck. Really not a big deal. I don't want to make too big a deal about this, but I did want to point it out. That's honestly my only issue in the car mode. The rest of my issues are all in the robot mode. But with that being said, there you have the car mode. Let's do some comparisons. Alright, now for comparison, first off, I'm going to bring in a few more standard Legacy and WFC Trilogy figures. Elita 1 just mold sucks cock. I was going to say Studio Series 86 Elita 1, but no, we have the Legacy 1 coming. Ignore that. But yeah, there you go. Just a few more fanbots. No one cares about this piece of shit. Get this thing out of here. So yeah, there is Chromio right there. Here is the Earthrise Datsun mold, just for a basic comparison right there. And for another basic comparison, here is a bigger deluxe. This is going to be Crosshair. And here's another bigger deluxe, which is Hoist. And you can see, yeah, she's bigger than these two. These are probably the two biggest deluxes, maybe in Spinister as well, who I'll compare in robot mode. But yeah, you can see these are big deluxes, and she actually is quite a good bit bigger than these deluxes, which are easily some of the biggest ones. So yeah, I think you really are getting Voyager class figure here. Now, for this last comparison or set of comparisons, we are bringing in the old school. Here is the original Cybertron Deluxe class Hot Shot. Here is the Cybertron Optimus Prime from the Siege line. I know that's not technically an original one, but I did want to show how that one looks real quick. So there is that comparison right there. But taking him out of here and putting back Hot Shot, here is from the Speedia Planet Breakdown, and here is Dirt Boss, also from the Speedia Planet. These are the original Cybertron toys. So there you go. There you have a little Speedia collection right there with some of the older Cybertron toys. And you can see she looks pretty good. She actually scales pretty well with the original Cybertron toy. And I don't know, maybe this was Hasbro's intention to make these scale perfectly well, because this is about the same size as what the original figure was like. Granted, the original figure was a deluxe, and I'm pretty sure that one was like $10, $15 maybe, but yeah. And then with Breakdown here, which is another Speedia character, there you go, and with Dirt Boss right there. And then one more, we also have Crumble Zone. Boom, there we go. So there is a little group shot with all of my Speedia characters right here, or is it called the Speedia? Velocitron, that's it, that's the name, Velocitron, the speed planet, the racing planet, yeah, that was it. So yeah, there you go, there's a little group shot of a whole bunch of Cybertron toys. And if you want one more, here's also Landmine, because there you go. This is not a good figure. Don't get this one. This is not a good figure. God, how did they justify this thing? How did this thing pass testing? It's God! And let's go ahead and get into our transformation. Now, I'm going to be honest, the transformation is one thing I'm going to say about this figure that's very, very straightforward. It's very simple. From what I was remembering of Prime vs. Prime's review of this thing, I remember it looking kind of complicated. I was excited to get this thing in hand and figure it out for myself because I thought it was going to be a lot more crazy and complicated. It's really not. It's actually pretty darn basic, if I'm being honest. I don't remember how the original one transformed, but it's pretty basic. It's not bad though. It works. It does its job pretty well. There is some parts of it that are a little bit, maybe a little bit mishandled in the design process. Just some clearance issues here and there, but pretty decent transformation. So with that, let's go ahead and say, I guess I will point out that her head is right there, but that's perfectly accurate to the character, so I don't think you can say too much about that. But yeah, let's get into the comparisons. Also, I guess technically you could take, not the comparison, the transformation. I guess technically you could take the gun off, but it looks fucking stupid, so just keep the gun on there. So yeah, let's get into the transformation. Alrighty, it is time for the transformation. So, transformation, pretty damn interesting on this thing. So, first thing we want to do is we want to untab this piece, and then when it comes to the arms here, we want to untab these hands from these pegs right there. Those tab into little pegs right there. Let me get some more light down there. And then you want to fold these out like the Studio Series 86 Jazz. That folds out just like that, and you have that going on. We're going to come back to the top here. We're going to fold this whole piece down like that, and then we're going to untab the legs, and these are just going to bend down, and then you have a little clip right there that's just going to clip into that little bar right there. So just get that tabbed into right there, and then you want to fold the feet out. The feet are actually pretty big. Then you want to rotate that piece around, bring it in, and you have a tab right there that's going to go into a little slot right there. That's going to lock that leg into place right there. Same thing on this side. So you want to bring this piece down just like that, get that bar tabbed into right there.
bring the foot down, rotate that piece up, make sure the foot is out of the way, and then tab that into that slot right there, and there you have the legs all done. Now you want to fold the back piece down. It's going to tab into a little spot right there. Then you want to bring the head piece down and this piece down, and you have 2 slots right there that's just going to tab into right there. And now for the arms, this is the only part of the transformation that I'm not a big fan of. So you bring these arms up, and then you kind of have to work them around this pin here, push them in like that, which is a little bit annoying, just like that. So you, so you want to get them up so that they have cleared the pin, push it in, bring it down so that it clears the pin, and then you want to kind of work this peg into a little slot right there. You can see right there, that's just going to go into that slot right there, and then this one is just going to find its way home right there pretty darn easily on its own. And then you just want to get all of that slid in place, and you want to have the arm like that. And then you want to do the same thing on this side. So you want to bring it up so it clears the pin, push it in, bring it down just like that, and then get that into that peg and get that into right there, and then make sure all that stays tabbed in place. And there you have, I almost said RC, override in her robot mode.
And here we have the robot mode, and yes, it looks really, really good, and once again, I think that she actually does make up for the Voyager class price point. You can see she is a big, bulky figure. Give me a freaking... If we bring in a typical deluxe, we'll use Exhaust here, because I love him. Y'all know I love Exhaust. If you look at him, yeah, it's a pretty good sized figure. I think she does live up to the Voyager class price point. And the plastic feels good, pinned on wheels. Yeah, definitely. I think she's worth the Voyager price point. I definitely don't think Hasbro was scamming you with this release. However, getting into the issues with this figure, which once again, before I point these out, I do want to reiterate that I do think this is a good figure. But getting into the issues, the biggest issue with this figure for me is the articulation. The articulation leaves a ton to be desired with this thing. It's just not very posable, and the problem is mainly the head and the arms. So the arms here, you can see they look pretty good, but when you rotate them, it looks like they're a little too far on the torso. You can see they're just too far down. It looks like old Galvatron, I'm sorry. It looks like when Kingdom Galvatron had his misassembled shoulders and they went down too far. It didn't look right. Of course, you fixed it and it looked good, or you could just rotate them around if you had the pin showing. Mine's fixed, so I can't really show you that. I fixed mine, so I can't really show you that, but that's what it looks like to me. It just looks like it's too far down on the arm when you move the arm out. And also, only 90-degree bend at elbow. I know I might be making a big deal out of this, but I mean, come on. Look at G-Axis here. He's got a little bit over 90-degree bend at the elbow. If we look at the brand new Studio Series 86 RC, she has a beautiful bend at the elbow, way over 90 degrees. You can get her in so many amazing poses. And then Override comes in at her Voyager price point, and you have 90-degree bend at the elbow. That's really disappointing. And also in the legs here, first of all, I want to say that the leg tolerances are extremely tight, and normally that be a really good thing, but they're really, really tight, and it's not the most fun to play with. I don't want to make too big a deal out about this. This is not really a big issue for me, but the leg tolerances is a little bit tight, and it makes playing with them not as pleasant as it probably would be if they were maybe just a little bit creamier, because they do kind of feel a little bit too tight, just a little bit. Once again, please keep in mind that's a very, very small issue, but I should definitely point out that you do actually have some pretty good articulation in the legs. You can actually get the knees up pretty darn well. The ankle pivot though is definitely leaves a lot to be desired. That's basically the amount you get. So that's the normal, and that's pretty much all the ankle pivot you get. Not absolutely atrocious. The main issue is the arms, and then the big one is the head. The head on this thing, oh, it's not. So the head itself looks good. Now I have to point something out real quick. Once again, I got a QC issue involving eye paint. You can see on my figure, the paint is, it's really hard to see. The eye on one side of my Override. Okay, I apologize for its blurriness, but you can see on one eye it's blue, and they're both supposed to be blue, but on the other eye here, it's not painted, and in person it looks way, way worse. It kind of looks like her eye got like smashed in or something, like a rock got thrown into her eye or something, and I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to look like that, because on the box, it does have her with 2 blue eyes right there. So I'm pretty sure you are not supposed, it's not supposed to look like that. I'm pretty sure you have that. And this is actually my second QC problem this year involving eye paint. If you guys saw my drag strip review, you know that I also got a QC problem with him where his visor was not painted. So yeah, this is a minor thing. I'm really not all that beaten up about it. I really don't care all that much if I'm being honest, but I did want to point it out. The real problem with the head is the articulation. She has, okay, so if you look at it, it looks pretty fun. fine. If you look at it, it looks like the head is leveled with the torso. But if you look at her from the front, it kind of looks like she's looking up a little bit. Just a little bit. It's not too much. If you really like straighten out her legs and you bring her up, it just looks like from the front that she's looking up a little bit. And the problem is, there is absolutely no down movement whatsoever on this head. It is locked in place. There is no upward movement. There is no downward movement. There is only rotation. So the rotation is there, but there is literally no moving this head up or down at all. And that is really unfortunate because you really can't get her in a ton of good looking poses. Because like if you try and get her in a really dynamic looking pose here, like say we bring that piece in, and like I said, posing these legs is not the most fun thing in the world because of how tight they are. But if you like bring her out like this, and we can pop her gun out, which by the way, you know, you can take the gun off the back. This is a really cool thing. You know what? I'm actually going to talk about that in just a second because that's actually one of my favorite things about the figure. So we'll talk about that in just a second. Just pretend she's holding a gun. You can see if we do that, she looks a little awkward because it looks like she's moving her head. Her head is looking up. I know you guys probably think I'm making a big deal out of nothing on this, but I promise you, when you get this thing in hand, you're probably going to notice that. You're going to notice that head and you're going to be like, oh, I don't like the way that head is angled. It looks like it's always looking up, like she's always very enamored with something in the sky and not the target that's right in front of her. I don't know. It's just not something I'm really into. I really hate it when figures are like this. I remember Laser Optimus Prime was like that out of the box, but then I found out that it was just assembled wrong. I have tried to see if this is assembled wrong for this with the same issue, but no such luck. It doesn't look like, because all I had to do to fix my Optimus Prime was just push his head back on the joint, because it wasn't actually on the joint. It was just like you can see on my Optimus Prime here. All I had to do was push the head back so that it actually went into the ball joint, because it wasn't on the ball joint originally, and now his head works fine. It looks up, it looks down, it looks fantastic. But I've tried just about everything with this head sculpt. I've popped it off, popped it back on. It doesn't want to move. This is it. This is all the articulation you get. It's just the rotation. It's not the best. It's really not the best. Between that and the 90-degree bend at the elbow, I really think the articulation leaves a lot to be desired on this thing, especially compared to SS86 Hot Rod. This is the other kind of deluxe at a Voyager price point. Although I'll be honest, I think she justifies it way more than Hot Rod, which I like this figure. Don't get me wrong. But he has fantastic articulation. He has great movement in his elbows. He has great movement in the head, great movement in the legs. I don't understand what went wrong with this, because it's just really hard to get her in any pose that isn't just like stock straightforward, or just something a little bit more badass, I suppose, like something like this. That looks good, yeah, that definitely looks good, but it just leaves a little bit to be desired in my opinion, just a little bit. So that's honestly my main issue with this figure, is just that head. I really hate the way that head just cannot look up or down like at all. It's just locked in place in that spot. Really unfortunate. However, let's talk about one of my absolute favorite things about this figure, and that is the way the weapon works. This is something I loved when I saw the review, when I saw Prime vs. Prime's review. I love that the weapon, just like on the original figure, it stays on the back, and then you can take it off whenever you want to in the robot mode. It pegs into her gun, and you might think it might be a little loose in there, because it is, but you have to push it in there, and then it kind of clicks in place, and then it really locks into her hand there. And then you can flip out the barrels, and you don't need a Cyberplanet key this time, although I will show that if you have a Cyberplanet key, which I do actually happen to have a Speedia key from my Hot Rod, which I showed in the comparisons, of course, you can actually plug this into the thing. You can see it does kind of have a little spot back there. It doesn't really go all the way in there, but like you can plug it in there just like that, and it does kind of have like a little bit where you can kind of have it in there, so it actually does kind of go in there. It's not like super duper secure. It does kind of come out pretty easily, but if you really want that that cross compatibility, I'm trying to see here if there's actually like, if I'm doing this right or not. It looks like that's just about all you got. And there's a little slot back there that you can kind of fit it into. Obviously it doesn't do anything. It doesn't actually spring load the barrels out, but it does kind of stay in there. So if you want to, I guess you can do that if you have a Cyberplanet key. But me personally, I'll just leave that aside, because if I'm being honest, most of the Cyberplanet key features, I would usually just lose the Cyberplanet key as a kid, and then I would just like pull them out on their own. Like Crumple Zone, I showed him in the comparison too. I actually have him right here with Crumple Zone. You come on, whoever used the Cyberplanet gun, this guy, we just fucking flip the goddamn cannons out, like seriously. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool that you can just flip those guns out just like that, and I think that looks really good, and those are definitely blast effect compatible. I think I have a blast effect up here. Nope, I put it away. Oh, okay, god damn it. There we go, here's a blast effect, so just to show that this is blast effect compatible, boom, there you go, Bob's your uncle, looks great, and all of that. I really like this aspect of the figure, honestly. This is like one of my favorite things about this figure. I love the way that you can pull this off the back, give it to her, flip those barrels out. That's dope as fuck, man. It's one of my favorite things about the original figure as well. So yeah, super, super cool. You can have that in her hand, and she does look good. Once again, for like the 5th time, I do like this figure. I do think this is a good figure, but there's just a lot of things about it that's just kind of, like the head. I don't like the head. I just want to move it more. It doesn't move very much. I don't like that. Yeah, so I think we are good to go there. Let's go ahead and show some comparisons.
And for comparison in the robot mode, first off, here she is with a few other Legacy Voyager class figures, G-Axis and Bulkhead. And yeah, I really don't think this is too bad. I mean, compared to Bulkhead, yeah, she's definitely shorter, but honestly, in terms of plastic quality, she actually feels even a little bit heavier than Bulkhead, honestly, and both of them feel like double the mass of G-Axis there. So yeah, I really, really like the way they look. Or rather, I should say I really, really like the size of the figure. I actually think she does make up for the Voyager class price point, maybe even more than Hot Rod, honestly. And then for some other sexy fembots, we have RC, and we have Black Arachnia for a few more comparisons. Oh, come on. So there you go, with some other fembots right there. Very, very nice. Nice that they finally are breaking the fembot curse. We have 3 legitimately good figures that are fembots. Excellent work, Hasbro. And finally, Hotshot Dirt Boss Breakdown. This is a great figure. If you don't have this guy, go track him down. He is super, super cool. And we'll put Crumple Zone right here. So there we go. There is that group shot, just like I showed in vehicle mode, of all of my Expedia or Velocitron, old Cybertron figures, man. They look fantastic. I honestly think she blends right in. She looks really good with these figures, man. Honestly, very, 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 very cool. So there you have that.
And let's move in to the final thoughts. Okay, I'm sure a lot of you are probably expecting me to say I don't recommend this figure, I don't like this figure, but I'm not going to say that. I actually do like this figure, and actually while reviewing it, I think I like it a little bit more. But it definitely is not my favorite Legacy figure, and I can't really see this one having a shot at making it onto my top 10 of the year or anything. It's just, I don't know, there's just quite a few things about this figure that I just wish were a little bit better. I wish the arm articulation was better, and I think it might even be less than, no, it's 90 degree. Okay, I don't want to blow things out of proportion. It is 90 degree, but man, so many figures get more. Like I have Dragstrip here. Does Dragstrip get more? Yep, Dragstrip gets more than 90 degrees as well. It's just, man, why only 90 degrees? It really makes her hard to pose. And then the head as well. And I'm not even talking about the fact that I got a QC problem in the eye there. Okay. Is this figure worth $35? Because that's the Voyager price point these days. I'd say yeah. I'd say yeah. Voyager price point I think is more than worthwhile for this. It's a good figure. The plastic is really good. The tolerances feel great. I like the figure a lot. I just wish it was kind of better. I'm glad I have it. I'm glad I paid for it. I definitely don't want to go take it back to Walmart or anything like that. I'm definitely going to hold on to it. I do like it. I think I probably even like it a little bit more than G-Axis because I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't like this figure. I don't like this figure. I know it's a very unpopular opinion, and I'm sorry if you hate me now because I don't like your favorite figure, but I just don't like that thing. But yeah, I think I do like her more than that because you got to keep in mind. Obviously, if you see my G-Axis review, you probably figured this out. I really value like the way the figure feels. I value the plastic quality. I value the way the joints feel, and in my opinion, G-Axis just doesn't cross that line. He's got so much chintzy feeling plastic, and I just don't like playing with this thing. Not even a little bit. This figure feels way more solid. However, that being said, I gave G-Axis an A. I don't know if I can give this figure anything less than an A, because it definitely has a little bit to be desired. And if I'm being honest, yeah, maybe they could have done a little bit more to justify this as a Voyager. More armor, better arm articulation, because there's nothing stopping it. There's absolutely nothing stopping that elbow from bending more. The transformation wouldn't do anything. All they would have had to do was just cut out a little bit more of that thing, and it could have been more. I don't understand. I really don't. And then for the head, this is a Voyager class figure. I mean, the budget had to have been higher. They could have just had like a little panel that was connected to, that you could bring it down and have better posability. As I'm really starting to value posability, man. I'm really starting to find that I really want to pose my figures around, like bringing in like Motormaster here. Yeah, I really want to pose my figures around. I've actually found that I really do kind of want that. Maybe this is a bad example because his head doesn't move up and down at all, but still, I really found that. I didn't used to think I was that big of a posability nut, but I actually think I'm becoming one. I really enjoy posing my Transformers around, and this figure just can't really pull off very many poses, unfortunately. So yeah. All right, I think I'm gonna call it there. Let's go ahead and hit this figure with a an A, I guess. I think an A is good. I don't really know, honestly. This is gonna be one you are gonna have to consider. Do you like Transformer Cybertron? Let me ask you. Do you like Transformer Cybertron? If you like Transformer Cybertron, or you like the character Override, yes, absolutely. Go get this, man. Go get all of these Cybertron figures. Go get freaking Cybertron, the Siege Optimus Prime. He's fantastic. I can't speak for the hot rod, the hot shot though. I didn't get him. But yeah. These are great, and the Metroplex is so expensive. I don't know if I'm gonna get the Metroplex. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if I'm gonna get the Metroplex. And I'm gonna say this because I don't know if I'm ever gonna get to review the Metroplex, and I want to say this because it's something I've always thought about the Titan class Metroplex. Why is that figure a Titan class? Why is Metroplex a Titan class? If you've seen Transformer Cybertron, Metroplex is not a Titan in that show. He's slightly bigger than Optimus Prime. He is not a Titan. He's like a normal sized dude compared to Optimus Prime. He might be about the size of Skyfire up there. You can see on my Autobot shelf, there's Optimus, there's Skyfire. He might be about that big, so they could have made him, I guess, a Commander class or a Lear class even. Like, I don't really understand why Metroplex was the Titan class, and that's for more reasons than just who the fuck cares about Cybertron Metroplex. Anyway, I think I've rambled on a good amount. I like this figure. I'm definitely going to keep it. I like the character. I like the figure. I do wish that Hasbro had just put a little bit more love into this figure. That's all I'm saying. But overall, definitely another solid entry in the Legacy line. Just not one of my personal favorites personally. So there you have it, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I should definitely say, though, that I'm very much looking forward to the remaining Cybertron figures. Maybe not Metroplex, because I don't know if I can afford to get a figure that I really don't think I'm going to mess with all that often. Like, I barely ever play with Omega Supreme, people. That's $200 for a figure that I think I'd play with even less than Omega Supreme, and I barely ever take him off the shelf, man. So yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't know if I can justify it. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can justify it. But yeah, I think I've rambled on enough. This was a long review, but there you have it. Solid figure. If you like Cybertron, absolutely go pick it up. You won't be disappointed at all, but you might be disappointed in the posability. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll leave this review off with that section right there. And unfortunately, I can't really tell you to check the eyes on it because it's packed in vehicle mode, which I know some people are into, and they're all like, I remember when the box got revealed for this thing, I remember everybody made like a huge deal out of it, like, oh my god, it's packed in vehicle mode, and the box looks like the old G1 packaging, oh my god. Forgive me for blatantly ripping off one of my favorite Jobby the Hong jokes, but this is all well and good and all, but I don't give a shit. The box and the instructions go straight in the trash as soon as I get the toy out. So, yeah, anyway, thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more Transformer reviews in the future. I guess the next one will probably end up being Laser Optimus Prime, because I'm sure I probably put this one up before Laser Optimus Prime. So, yeah, we'll finally finish up Legacy Wave 1 next time with Laser Optimus Prime, because I am going to put RC. By the time I'm recording this video, RC's review won't be up. Well, yeah, anyway, I don't know. I'm just rambling, whatever. I think the next review will be Laser Optimus Prime. If it's not, fight me. Thanks for watching. DK Guillotine, signing out.